And good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to episode number 14. 14 of these things. Can you believe that?
Bob Cousy.
Bob Cousy,
Hey,
that's
hey.
right. Jim Rice.
Nothing but the
Rice,
best.
yeah.
Nothing but the best.
Ace
We,
Bailey. You want to keep going?
Okay, that's enough.
Okay, that's enough. Thank you. I don't know if there was
Steve Grogan, did he wear 14? Who wore 14 in the Patriots?
Was it Grogan?
No, I
I'll
don't
look it
remember.
No.
I don't remember. Well, anyway,
We're gonna have to look that up anyway.
welcome to season episode 14. I think
Season of love.
I'm getting ahead of myself. Of 4th and 62. As always, I'm here with the coach, Bob Paraso, and live via satellite from his palatial estate, his cousin Stephen. We have an awful lot to talk about with the Patriots. Good for Coach Bob for putting on his Patriots garb. So the question is, at this time, at 3:20 on, I hope I'm allowed to say the time, Peter, at 3:20 on Thursday, January 9th, have the Patriots yet hired Mike Vrabel? I haven't seen anything. We haven't seen anything, but we know that this is probably imminent. It's a job that Vrabel wants, and we think that Bob Kraft would anoint him as his second son after Jerod Mayo. So
I don't know if Vrabel wants to be his second son after
So-
son number one.
well, I don't know. Well,
Tom Brady was his son.
there's three other.
Well,
Well, see, I think they're all his son.
by the way,
Okay.
this is going to be completely out of context for our listening audience, but Steve Grogan was 14.
Oh,
All right. Like it.
very good.
That'll come up
Lucky.
later.
Good.
Lucky. He was lucky.
Yeah.
He was lucky. Okay. And didn't we love Steve Grogan?
Oh,
We did.
He was tough.
Yep.
We could talk a whole show about Steve Grogan, but we won't do that. So one of the notes I put down: how do they skirt the Rooney Rule this time to hire Mike Vrabel? Well, I think Byron Leftwich and some guy named Pep Hamilton, or
Pep Hamilton,
I never heard of him.
OC for the Texans in 22. That was his last
There you go.
coaching
Okay.
in the NFL. Leftwich has a much better resume.
Yes. Yes.
He won a Super Bowl as
With
a
Tom
player.
Brady. With Tom Brady.
He as a player in college for the Cardinals, and then he also won one with Brady.
Yep.
Yep.
So, are they going to hire?
I mean, I got to I wonder why, let's say, the Patriots hired a minority candidate, and okay, they fired him, but like, why do they have to go through the rigmarole of the Rooney Rule now?
Because at any opening, you have to, look at in-person interviews with minority candidates. They don't necessarily have to be black. They could be. There was a Hispanic coach for the Panthers. His name goes by Flores. Not wasn't
Ron
Flores.
Rivera,
Rivera. Right. But that's the rule.
Riverboat Ron.
Riverboat Ron.
Riverboat Ron. He played for the Bears when the Bears annihilated the Patriots in the Super Bowl 20. Well, so Stephen, did that answer your question?
I don't remember my question, so yeah.
Well, your question was
Why did they have-
about the Rooney Rule.
Yeah, that's just my thing. It's not important. But they've
Okay.
already proven that they have the ability to hire a minority candidate.
Right.
So just doing it now, it just seems like
Well,
it's just the rules, so they do it. That's all.
they interviewed Leftwich and Pep Hamilton on whatever a couple days ago. So as far as the Patriots are concerned, they've already checked that box.
And they've already
Right.
asked to interview the DC, I think it is, for the Lions.
Aaron Glenn, yep,
And then also the offensive coordinator
for the Lions.
for the Lions, both Lions.
Ben Johnson, yep.
Right. So the Lions, all the coaches are going to be hot stuff, but the guy that made that whole thing go is the head coach.
Dan Campbell.
I mean, he's talk about a riverboat gambler,
Yeah.
and the players love him, absolutely love him. And he's done something right because all of his backup players, maybe not quite as good as the starters, but have you seen their in IR for the defense?
Oh, it's
They've lost like 20 plus players on defense. Not the least of one was Aiden Hutchinson.
yep.
All right, the best defensive end in the league. And
I'd like to
still
point
winning.
out that I'd like to point out that all the injuries on the Patriots had no effect on our defense either.
absolutely,
That has to do with that zero thing, Stephen.
absolutely,
Yeah, I
That's
guess-
part of our
yes, it is.
salary.
yeah,
Whatever
Wow.
times zero is still zero.
yeah.
So, but there's one name that no one's mentioned yet,
What's that?
and it checks the box for minority. It's Brian Flores.
Yeah,
He's been a head coach.
Yep.
He was an assistant coach here. He's a defensive-minded coach. If Rabel, for some reason, doesn't come here, which I doubt that's going to happen, I think by the time we all get home tonight, Stephen, this doesn't count for you, but by the time Bob and I get home, I think Rabel's going to be the head coach of the Patriots.
could be.
But if not, I hope they ask permission and get permission to speak to Brian Flores, because I love that guy. I think he's mean enough, he's ornery enough.
Now, where is he now?
He's the defensive coordinator of the Vikings. He's done an unbelievable job up there. Talk about players that would run through a wall for him. But, who knows? I'm sure he knows himself that Vrabel's in front of him. But
Now, I know that professional coaches have to go where the money is, and the only place you're going to get a lot more money is if you bump up in responsibility.
Right.
I understand that completely. However, the Viking staff seems to be kind of close-knit. Everybody's on the same page.
Yep.
Certainly the Lions are all on the same page. The Steelers running into a little bit of trouble, but their head coach, everybody loves him. So would they, like the Lions, if they win the Super Bowl, would they want to break that up? I'm not talking about professionally. I'm just talking about emotionally. They could
course not.
They could stay together and run this whole thing out, similar to what the Patriots did. Patriots coaches stayed together, running that whole thing through Brady's golden years. They weren't looking to go anyplace. They wanted rings for every finger and a thumb.
they want to stay there.
Right.
Well, I think it's like you said, Bob, it's money talks. So either the team has to pony up to keep the guys, or they're going to lose them because other teams are going to pay
Yeah.
big money for the guys who are coaching Detroit, Flores. So it's not that easy to keep the band together.
It's absolutely right. Absolutely right.
And then, I mean, I don't believe that they'd want to break that up, but you got to believe that Aaron Glenn would jump at the chance of being a head coach. Ben Johnson would jump at the chance of being a head coach. And Brian
course.
Flores would love another chance. And he'd love another chance here, even though he's suing the NFL. But that, whatever.
I mean, a lot of guys like Flores know what they did wrong. I submit, as bad as everybody's thinking about Jerod, he knows what he did wrong. One, he was a puppet for Kraft.
Yeah.
He got hung out to dry, and he didn't push back when I think he knew, hey, the cupboard's a little bare here. We can't. We gotta, and we know the offensive line is Swiss cheese, but publicly you've got to support your guys. But I think he knows now that Belichick, he was a pain in the neck for the press. He gave nothing on to Cincinnati, where he tried to be a little more open, so he stepped on his tongue, had to walk it back. He'll never do that again, ever, if he gets another shot.
Unfortunately, though, he had to learn that while coaching a professional football team.
That's true.
So that it was a mistake, as Kraft admitted finally, and unfortunately he didn't figure it out before he hired him. But we all knew he had zero history of coaching, no experience, and then he proved during the year that he wasn't really good at it. I mean, he didn't have any strategy that you could say, wow, that was cool. He didn't even seem to know how to run a quarterback sneak. The defense didn't seem to have any kind of strategy that could possibly win them a game. So, unfortunately, he needs seasoning. So he might be a great guy, he probably is, and he might be a great coach, but it's going to take a couple more years and a little more experience if we're ever going to find out.
Well, I think to your point, Stephen, learning on the job without anybody. DeMarcus Covington, first-time defensive coordinator. Alex
Your
Van
boy.
Pelt,
Your
first
boy.
time.
AVP.
My buddy. Yeah, yeah. He's and you know what? At the end, he wasn't even the worst, because I think he did a good job with Drake May. I'll give him credit.
Yeah.
But the rest of them, and poor Mayo. Did you read it? And I don't know if you believe everything you read, but that on the plane flight back, the coaches from Arizona, the coaches were up front looking. Oh, I have stuff. I get excited to talk about the Patriots. The coaches were up front looking at film, and Mayo was in the back of the plane playing cards with the players. And I'm saying to myself, okay, there's a guy that seriously doesn't know his place.
No, he's a kid.
And he doesn't know any better.
Yeah.
And no one told him.
Nobody to teach him.
Right. And he had nobody to teach him anything.
No.
So, I'll give Bob Kraft credit for one thing, and one thing only. That's integrity and being honest and saying, first thing he said, this is now.
Sorry.
First, that's okay. The first thing he said at the press conference, this is on me. This is I screwed up. And I don't think it was just Jerod Mayo. It was everything. So to your point, Stephen, they didn't draft well. They didn't sign well. They did nothing. They did nothing well.
No.
And Belichick left a mess, and everyone after Belichick didn't help it.
No.
So go ahead.
Can we talk about the one time that they shouldn't have done well and they did? I need to talk about this.
Go ahead. I know you want
you know,
to. So wait a minute. Let's just set this
Here we
up.
go.
Let's set this up for you. Stephen wants to talk about the final game of the season against the Buffalo Bills.
The two of us were very concerned about Cousin Stephen.
Yes.
Because
We were worried about him.
I figured he was so red in the face that he couldn't talk.
I can't imagine. Best Buy down there where he lives must have had a banner day selling big screen television, because you put your foot through it a couple of times.
I've burned all of my Patriots paraphernalia, and I'm thinking of trading in my season tickets. I was so angry and so upset at frankly the stupidity of winning that game. And I'm going to blame Kraft again. Here's a franchise that did Spygate, they did Deflategate, and somehow they couldn't pull off Tankgate. So I think Kraft, he knew he was going to fire Mayo. I think Kraft needed to get the word to Elliott, what's his name? Elliott Wolf. Say, Elliott, this team has to lose. Go tell Mayo, this team has to lose.
But, listen to what happened in Miami when the coach down there that ended up getting fired, because Miami was in a similar situation, and he claims the ownership told him, you're losing this game. Okay? All hell broke loose. So Kraft,
nobody was going to admit it.
No, they did. Well,
nobody in the Patriots was going to admit it. I mean, that would be like, that would be really dumb. to be honest about that.
Yeah.
But nobody, it would be easy for them to lose. I mean, they'd already lost 13 games, and they were playing the Buffalo Bills. So they lose that game. Nobody's going to think they should have won it.
But if you're right, and I don't think Kraft is probably thinking, listen, every sports writer, every pundit, every talk show, every fan was saying, okay, you lose, that's a no-brainer. We can lose. We've done that very easily. And now you've got the number one pick. Probably not going to draw. You're probably not going to draft anybody. You're going to get like 5 or 6 picks for that thing, because you've got so many holes to plug that if you get Travis Hunter, so what? Right. You need more than that. So but I don't know.
Exactly.
I don't know what Mayo was thinking or not thinking, but the Buffalo Bills played him like a Stradivarius.
Yep.
Totally agree.
It all looked like they were playing the game. Yep. Allen came in, get his consecutive game going. Then Cook comes in so he can get his touchdown. Okay, fine. Everything going along. And then there was one play, a guy went out of bounds, or a penalty. And then they declined the penalty.
Right.
So that was another subtle thing. But okay, it's a strategy thing. So it didn't look like they were throwing the game, but they were. They let Milton look like, Brady.
Right.
I mean, Milton looked like a world beater.
Milton looked unbelievable.
Right.
I mean, I don't know who expected that. I mean, Milton was awesome. He was great.
He was.
And there's a future for this guy now. I think we can agree. I mean, he was accurate with his passes. He didn't sail anything. He didn't make any dumb mistakes. So yes, we all know Buffalo was in a vanilla defense, so there was no,
Right.
he didn't have to worry about getting fooled. But even so, his passes were on the mark.
Right. He still had to make the pass.
And if this was preseason,
ran.
This was a good preseason game.
Right. Yeah.
For the Patriots.
He did a backflip. He did it all.
Yeah, he did.
Shades of our good friend Robert Hess of Coral Springs, Florida, texted me and he said, reminds me of Ozzie Smith.
There you go.
When Ozzie Smith ran out to shortstop, he would do a backflip.
Cardinals.
Right.
Yep.
And land on his feet and not fall down, which...
I don't know. Did you guys listen to his press conference? Milton's press conference?
Yeah.
He's a very articulate.
Yeah, he's a sharp guy.
Absolutely. Yeah. This kid's got a future.
Yep.
I think he can play. Now we got a quarterback controversy.
Now we got 2.
Yep.
We didn't have any. Now we have 2.
Which is good.
There's no controversy.
Well,
no, you're right.
I know. Brissett's coming back.
So,
Right.
So one of the things I wrote in my notes here, which go to the guys a couple days ago, and I said this earlier, their drafting and free agent signings have been awful. Why keep the same guys? So why is Elliott Wolf still there? Why is Matt Groh still there? I would think if Vrabel's hired, or whoever the coach is, now coaches bring in their GMs. It used to be the other way around, where a GM would hire his coach. Now, no more. Why are these guys still around? I mean, their signings were horrible. Their drafting has been horrible for years. I mean, especially wide receiver. Oh my God.
Right, but the drafting, Wolf has 1 year of drafting.
I know. Well,
and Groh's got 1 year.
has a couple years. He had a couple years with Belichick.
Right, but I mean, Belichick.
So here's the thing, in my opinion, is like a coach has a certain style of play, and Belichick had a certain style. He wanted a certain kind of player, so he went and got those guys. Big linebackers, certain types of body types and players. Left tackles with long arms, that sort of thing. And he went out and got them. But if you're just drafting and you don't know what you're drafting for, you might not hit the players you need. So the fact that the Patriots are changing their grading system which is a la Green Bay, according to what I read, makes sense. And maybe that will help them this year make better picks. And, if you look at the history of picks throughout the league, everybody makes mistakes all the time.
Oh, yeah.
So, I mean, yes, we really stunk at wide receiver. We should just trade away our number 2 choice every year because we never hit it. So I do have hope for Elliott Wolf to do a better job. He's had the experience. Whether he's pans out this year, I don't know. But I'm willing to give him another shot. But like you said, John, it's up to the coach. The coach comes in, he's going to bring in his own guys.
Don't
I
forget,
think. I mean, certainly he's going to talk to Kraft about it.
yeah, Wolf learned from his father,
Right.
who was very,
Right.
very
He was
successful
great.
in Green Bay.
He was great.
Right? So he's only been there a year. Got to
Okay.
get in
All
the
right.
swing of things.
I'm easy. Okay. Wolf stays.
Now we've got one more thing we can mention before it gets lost in the shuffle. That
Are we running out of time?
No, no.
I want to check the clock.
We're getting there.
Still 5 minutes left.
Cousin Steven, he wasn't far from wrong. He did give up his game tickets for the last game.
That's
He
right.
and his wife had enough. We're not going back. We're going to go freeze our butts off to watch this. No, thank you. So, Oz up there in the booth was there. His
He's waving.
very first and only
Patriots game.
football game.
Peter, did you leave after the second quarter?
We left with about 8 minutes left in the fourth quarter.
Oh, okay. All right. Just want to
Buddy,
check.
He sent me a picture. He got his Brady jersey. He was sitting there proud as a
Nice.
peacock.
He's all excited.
Yeah.
Thank you, Stephen, for giving him the tickets.
You're welcome. He sent me a very nice note. I know he had a great time. Sent me a picture. He looked like he was bundled up appropriately. And I think he had 6 or 7 beers. Is that right?
That was by halftime. So
Well, he had to get up every once in a while or he'd be frozen in the
go to the
seat.
bathroom.
Right. Right. Speaking of the draft,
I'm going to
though,
tell you a little inside information that if you go to the bathroom, men's or women's, because my wife has told me the same thing, that when you go to wash your hands, this is important now, the water is warm.
Whoa.
hey, and the
Yeah.
Patriots are taking heat. I mean, come on, they got hot water in the men's and ladies' room.
Right.
Come on.
All right. Leave him alone.
Now you go back.
You don't get inside stuff like this anywhere else.
That's true.
You don't see
true.
Ben Volen writing this.
No. And
I bet Kevin.
Dupes wouldn't write
Kevin-
it.
I bet
Not
Kevin doesn't
Kevin
even know
Devon.
that.
No.
Because when he's up in the press box, he's get warm everything.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Got nice hot cocoa.
Yeah. Yeah.
I heard he's drinking Maker's Mark.
It could be.
That could be. Yes.
Could be.
Yes.
Now, well, you go back to be a little bit more serious. Sorry.
Why?
You talk about the draft being a crapshoot. Absolutely. If you hit somebody, that's the luck. Normally, you're not going to hit anybody because you don't know what an 18, 19, 20, 21-year-old kid who's been the star at every level he's played in, including the clowns that we had playing offensive line. They were the best of the best. Grammar school, high school, college. They were. Everybody said they can't miss, right? Okay,
Right.
now you got a 6'6", 350-pound tackle. Now, who do you suppose was opposing him in high school?
6'1", 190
190-pounder, right?
guard.
Okay, now he comes up, and all of a sudden he's getting punched in the mouth.
Yeah.
Now who proves that point? Mr. Brady. He was good. He got beat out in Michigan by a kid that was a baseball player.
Yep.
Okay, but he had it up here, and he had it in here.
Yeah.
He was not going to be denied. You can't measure that with metrics, grading systems. Who knew?
No, and that's proven by the fact that he was passed over almost 200 times before the Patriots drafted him.
Exactly. He had one guy that was rooting for him and told Belichick, "You've got to draft this kid." That was the director of scouting back then, or a college scouting.
And he waited till the 6th round.
He was telling him all along, "You got to look at this."
No, but
Brady kid."
Belichick waited till the 6th
Belichick
round.
did, and he said, "Okay, 6th round.
Who cares?
Who cares?
Yeah.
You know, we can use him for the scout team and then cut him."
Aren't
I
you?
think his exact quote was, "There's just too much talent to pass on him one more time."
Yeah, there you go.
Okay. Let me ask you guys a question.
Sure.
Aren't we sick of watching other teams, and I don't have any one in mind, where he said he was a non-drafted player?
Who?
Pick one.
Oh,
Ray
oh.
Davis, the kid in Buffalo,
How about Mr. Irrelevant?
or Mr. Irrelevant, Brock Purdy.
No, the guy out. Yeah.
Yeah,
and-
Brock Purdy in San Francisco.
Right.
I don't know. Well, he was drafted, even though he was the last guy. But, I have to shut up. So, I don't know. I'm sick of seeing these other teams come in and wipe out the Patriots with guys that weren't even drafted, weren't even picked. So, we have 30 seconds left. I hope you enjoyed this show all about the Patriots and all about Jerod Mayo. I'd like to thank Cousin Steven. I'd like to thank the coach,
you,
Bob
guys.
Paraso.
Thank you, sir.
Pete, you please check that we're finishing right on time. And we'll see you next time for episode 15 of 4th and 62, where we'll talk about the Red Sox, the Celtics.
Babe Parilli.
Babe Parilli. And we'll talk about Babe Parilli. Thank you very much. Enjoy your day.